Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alemannic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is a different kind of cord cutting. So the three lighter colored rocks represent three different situations, and the dark one, the heaviness, the trauma that comes from all of those. And all of these are things that are weighing us down, just like the weights that hold down a hot air balloon, and they have to cut those ties. Basically, like they have to get rid of that weight so that the balloon can take off, right? So but before we jump into this and before I go into a few more details there, I do want to announce that this coming Thursday, so it was supposed to be today, but the weather was supposed to actually be worse. And also, I wanted to give more people a chance to sign up. So, anyone who is in the Greater Toronto area, the live virtual fire ceremony will take place next Thursday, which is July the 16th. From 7 to 10 p.m. And the details are on the Alemannic Shaman Facebook page and meetup.com under the group name Shamanic Fire Ceremonies. And also the next virtual fire ceremony, which is interactive but virtually, right, will take place on the 4th Sunday of July, not the 3rd one. I'm pushing everything back a little bit, just due to a few things that I have going on at my end. So on Sunday, July 26th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, there will be the next virtual interactive shamanic fire ceremony. And I'm going to put the fire in quotation marks because it's with candlelight, right, representing the fire. So it's not a full bonfire, but we still have the element of an actual flame there. So I really look forward to that. Again, the information is on both of those pages that I just mentioned. So if you're interested, please do sign up. I look forward to seeing some of you there, hopefully more and more as time goes on. And now back to this. I'm using the yellow cord for these cord cuttings because this is where we're not in our power when we get triggered. And I've had 3 situations over the last few weeks that are represented by each of those rocks. So I'm going to try to mention them as general as possible, but still giving you details because I know that many of us are trying to heal from those exact same energies and the same or similar situations. So the first situation refers to a person either speaking or acting on our behalf and or doing things for us without consulting us at all. So that's when we get robbed of our own voice and people project what they feel would be right for us, what they think would be good for us, or what they think should be communicated on our behalf, again, without actually talking to us, without actually getting our input. So this is, in German, there's a term Entmündigung, which is like literally taking someone's mouth away from them. And that is normally done when an elderly person is no longer able to make their own decisions. However, sometimes controlling people who are very much in the masculine controlling type of energies where they kind of plow over someone, those kind of steamrolling type energies. And again, I'm not referring to a gender here. Like I have enough female examples in my head right now of women who are very much in those masculine kind of energies, right? Where they just take over and act on behalf of someone, where that person's rights are completely run over and disregarded. So that's the first situation. And it's not always done in such a forceful way as I just described. It can be done gentler, but again, disregarding what someone actually wants, right? So in that sense, there's still steam rolling over us, even if it's done in a gentler way. And a lot of times that is still a form of lies and manipulation that are involved in that situation. Well, even just the dishonesty of not being upfront with the person and actually discussing something openly with them, right? Then the second situation is where someone is highly, highly, highly manipulative, deceitful, and dishonest, and where they tricked us into a situation that we would not have voluntarily chosen for ourselves. And that can be a situation that can actually get us in trouble sometimes, whether that be with a person or possibly even something legally where we didn't realize what the intent of the other person was. Or it could have also been in a dating type of situation where we found ourselves in a situation that we didn't really want to be in. So this can go many different ways, but the bottom line is that there's a highly, highly manipulative person tricking us into a situation that we would not have chosen had we known all the facts from the beginning and had we known the truth. So that a lot of times is either a narcissist, a sociopath, or a psychopath, or any of those other like uh, terms that can apply, like dark triad. They call them dark empaths sometimes when an empath has turned dark and uses their powers actually for evil, right? And I think there's some other terms as well that apply to those kind of people. But yeah, the bottom line is being tricked into a situation by someone highly manipulative, into a situation that we definitely would not have chosen on our own, right? And then the last one here is something that I observed today, and even though I wasn't directly a participant in the situation, it could have turned into that had I not kept the conversation away from going in a certain direction. But this refers to a lying, cheating, two-timing player who wants to keep their options open. And I mean, I'm speaking from a female perspective. This was a situation where a man communicated to me that she was just a friend, whereas she had told me that she was his girlfriend. And I know the same kind of situation can also happen in reverse, right? But it was clearly his intention to keep his options open. And with someone else in my situation, maybe that could have led to possible cheating on his part, right? It didn't with me. I didn't give him any personal information where he could have contacted me or anything like that. But just some of the questions that he was asking about me, even though I didn't give him too many details, but even just wanting to know if I was with someone. And I didn't give him a very clear answer on that, but you know where this is going, right? So yeah, so these are the lying, cheating, manipulating, two-timing, whoring player type energies of people that many of us, I would say, have attracted into our lives again and again and again. And especially those of us of our collective, we have often chosen really big challenges that needed to be overcome, because fully stepping away from those energies can be quite challenging because it is so entrenched. Because when I was thinking just before the ceremony, I was kind of, brainstorming a little bit of like how the family patterns were and all of that. And as far as I know, my mother, my grandmother, and my great grandmother attracted those same type of player energies from men. And again, I'm not just speaking from a female perspective. I'm just speaking from my own experience and what I've experienced. But I know that for many or most of us in this collective, those are energies that we're dealing with. And even if we are walking on the straight and narrow, we might still be attracting those energies if the emotional trauma has not been fully healed, right? So, like, for example, I was in a very committed relationship where I, like, things were so wrong that I should have simply walked away, but I was not in a situation yet where, like, the external circumstances weren't quite in place for me to be able to leave. So I had to really control myself to not cheat, because I knew that's not the kind of person I want to be. But that's because I'm consciously on the path of living up to my moral and ethical standards. However, someone else in a toxic situation might act differently, right? And a lot of times, when we are dealing with those kind of situations, especially when someone turns away from us and we feel rejected, neglected, and so on, then even though we're not looking for anything like that, those how do I best put this? I don't want to say urges or desires, but yeah, for a lack of a better term right now, those urges and desires might come up, right? Even if we were not in the beginning the one with those intentions. However, having attracted those kind of people continuously again and again and again, there is a clear unhealed wound, right? That even if we're trying really hard not to be that kind of person, but if we're still attracting those kind of people, then the wound is still not healed and needs to be healed. Okay, so that's enough about that. I was trying to find the right words, but yeah, it's a little tricky sometimes. Okay, and of course, last but not least, the dark rock for all the trauma from all these different situations, and what they all have in common is dishonesty, lies, and manipulations, right? And a lot of times when we're dealing with those kind of energies, then what gets edged out is trust and innocence, right? So let's say maybe when we were young, we were really trusting and faithful, and we believed that the other person had all the good and right intentions. And then bit by bit, the jading started happening as we had more and more of those kind of experiences, right? However, all those kind of experiences were drawn to us because of childhood wounding, because that's the pattern our parents had. That's how one or several one or both of our parents and or caregivers had towards us as well. I mean, in this case, I'm not talking about the whole cheating thing, but the other types of energies, right? Of the dishonesty, the lying, the manipulation, and all of that, right? So anyway, with that being said, all of these are different forms of lies and manipulations, and it can really skew our perception, and it can also throw us off balance that even though we know we're being lied to, we're being manipulated on some deep level, we're so used to going along with it because there were often very, very severe consequences if we didn't. We had to go through either emotional hell with one or several of those parents or caregivers, or possibly worse types of punishment, right? So we learned not to trust our intuition, our gut feeling that always told us the right thing, but we were gaslit into not believing ourselves and our higher selves, right? So all of this shall be healed with this ceremony. Now, please do keep in mind that this is a very, very heavy topic and type of healing. So it may require several ceremonies. It may also require that you watch this several times. Just see what you're called to. And oh, I also added the apple in the corner here because that's the poisonous apple. So that represents two things. One, the apple that the ancient evil snake, like from the Bible story, gave to Eve to then tempt Adam into eating it, and then they got thrown out of paradise, right? So when we look at this story, it's like paradise was the ascended state, and the lies and manipulations and the deceit got them kicked out of paradise, right? So now we're living in the lower realm of 3D, but to actually ascend again, we need to heal from those lies and manipulations to return to paradise on earth before actually dying, right? Now, the other aspect of that is also the Sleeping Beauty story where the evil stepmother tricked her into eating the poisonous apple. And luckily, she didn't fully die, but she was just put into long-term sleep, right? And she was able to be reawakened through true love's kiss. So that also teaches us how, like, stepping into those high vibrations of true love, and therefore like unconditional love, right? Through that, we can also reawaken again from being asleep in that deceitful 3D matrix kind of situation where we got tricked into something, right? So it all kind of goes together nicely. So without further ado, let's get started. And if you would like to also eat an apple, that would be wonderful, right? So if you could do that along with me. If you also want to do a similar setup, if you don't have a doll, but you have another stuffed animal, for example, or if you can MacGyver something, even just like a little bundle that you use to represent us, or yourself in this case, right? That would be wonderful too. If not, that's okay. But I do encourage you acting along with this to keep this a little bit more interactive, especially if you want to join one of the ceremonies. Then it's really wonderful if you are already a little bit used to doing some of that as well. Okay, anyhow, enough being said. Let's smudge and get started. And I keep looking at my phone. It looks so dark, but I have two lights, one on the right and left. I have the light off the tripod, and I thought I had the light on the phone on, but somehow it still seems to be pretty dark. So there's something going on there with the darkness still weighing us down, still dampening us, keeping us down, and just not really allowing enough light to flow in. Okay, with that being said, oh, and I also replaced the little element candle with charcoal just to kind of mix it up a little bit so that none of the four things that represent the four elements are actually the water and earth, but the bird wing that I found represents the air, and the clay represents, here the little clay thing represents the earth, right? It comes from the earth, and then the charcoal represents the fire, and the shell represents the water. So this is something that is really good for, let's say, a little traveling altar if you want to have something where you don't have to rely on actually finding some soil and lighting a candle and so on. Although I always recommend having an actual candle for the actual healing. And I relit the yellow one that we started a while ago for strengthening the solar plexus, right? So anyhow, let's smudge. And now I have to, actually, I don't want to dip all the way in there, so I'll have to do it this way. Hold on. It's easier with my right hand. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Please cleanse, clear, and renew all of our energies and take away anything dark, low vibrational, and unhealed, and transmute it into pure divine essence and return it to the universe for reintegration, and help us fully and completely reconnect to our own inner divinity as well as that all around us, and through that help us be in oneness with all of creation. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. Okay. Oh, and I wanted to add that with these cord cuttings, we're of course also disconnecting from the people that brought these situations into our lives, right? But we're going beyond that by disconnecting from how that kept us down, it weighed us down, and all of that, right? Okay, let's call in our divine team. Dear divine higher power of the universe, our higher selves, and our entire divine spirit team of the light, including the four elements and the four directions. And did I already say our ancestors that are in the light? Please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, and protection with all of your powers. Thank you. Please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. Okay, I want to give thanks for the strong guidance that has been coming to me over the last few weeks, especially like over the last few days. It kind of intensified a little more to take shape into this. But I also want to give thanks for all the simple things like a roof over my head. I have transportation, I have lots of food, and yeah, all my basic needs are absolutely covered. So that is something that is not always the case for everyone on this planet. So we have to sometimes acknowledge the little things that we simply take for granted, right? All right, with that being said, I hope that you all had a chance to think of what you're thankful for, and let's get started. So, let any and all cords, bonds, shackles, chains, leashes, and karmic connections that connect us to these situations and the trauma that I explained before calling in our divine team, all of them shall be cut, so that the first one refers to people acting or speaking on our behalf without asking us, without even knowing what we want, without respecting our autonomy, without respecting our sovereignty, without respecting our right to make our own decisions and speak for ourselves. So that shall be cut, severed, finished, and removed. And then the next one, the highly manipulative people that trick us into situations that we would not have chosen had we known all the facts and had they been honest and direct with us, right? So being lied to and tricked into situations that we weren't okay with and that could have potentially caused harm to us or others, or that could have put us or others in danger. So, and any and all resentment connected to that. So that'll be more on the black rock, but let any and all of those cords, bonds, shackles, chains, leashes, and karmic connections now and forever be cut, severed, finished, and removed. And the same goes for lying, cheating, manipulating, two-timing, whoring, players, people who were in a love relationship with, a romantic relationship with, or even just other people who want to be with us, who are those kind of people, and we keep attracting those kind of people into our lives, and we no longer want to attract any of that. We deserve honesty, respect, kindness, support, and someone who will be honest, direct, and upfront about anything. And if there are any issues in the relationship, that they will openly communicate that with us, and that they will also take responsibility for their own actions, and that they're aware of their own feelings and act with integrity and in an honorable way. And we shall disconnect from any and all other dishonest, from any other energies that are dishonest, lying, cheating, and manipulative, that are those player type of energies. So we shall be fully and completely disconnected from those player energies, from those cheating energies, now and forever, throughout all of time and space, throughout all lifetimes, timelines, parallel and alternate realms, realities, multi and universes, and any and all other aspects that affect us in this lifetime and moving forward. And our entire lineages shall be healed from all three of those, and from all the trauma, all the anger, hate, and resentment. And my voice just almost went, from having the voice, our voice suppressed, from being robbed of the right to speak for ourselves, to make our own decisions, all that resentment, all that bitterness, all that hate towards people who robbed of us of our sovereign right to make our own decisions and speak for ourselves, all of that shall be fully and completely removed from us, and all that tightness that all of this left behind shall also be removed from us. We shall no longer be tied up or tangled into those dishonest energies and any and all entities connected to those kind of energies, and bringing those energies into our lives shall also be removed. One moment, please. I'm just being guided to one more thing. Oh, my hammer is kind of packed away right now, but this is just as well. So with this gavel, we shall now have divine justice, and any and all dark magic that was put on us to keep us locked into these toxic energies, these dishonest, lying, cheating, deceitful, manipulative energies shall now and forever be broken. Wow, see, that didn't want to break at first. Oh, interesting. Now and forever, and we shall have divine justice. I ask for divine intervention, justice, and protection from these energies, and that we fully heal from them, and that we can let go of any dark energies and emotions connected to these energies. And so it is. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. I think I missed one down here. Okay, just a tiny piece. All right. So it's interesting that, oh no, oh wow. So it's almost like, you know how walnut shells can be like a ship? And this is almost like the sail. But when you turn it, that's gonna like go under, it's gonna sink. Like that was how we were doomed to sink in relationships. And that pattern was passed down from generation to generation. And by eating this walnut, and if you want to do the same, please do so, we shall be healed from these toxic energies that sink us, that ruin us, that destroy us. Destroyed, past tense. And that made us sink like the Titanic when we were in relationships. Okay. And with that being said, let me start eating the apple. However, I don't think I can completely finish it while filming, but at least I want to get it started. Hold on. That's a lot of smoke. Let's cover that a little bit. And by eating this apple, we take our power back, and our entire energy field shall be restored by having our system digest these toxic energies, just like our stomach and intestines are going to break down, digest, and then excrete the apple that we're eating that represent those toxic energies. And as we're excreting it out of our body, it shall be flushed out of our system physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, energetically, karmically, and in any and all other aspects that affect us in this lifetime and that have affected us in all lifetimes, and also that would affect us in the future, but it shall be healed. And moving forward, that shall be removed from our timelines. And justice is done. Okay, I'll eat a little bit more and then we're going to wrap it up. I'm not sure how loud my apple eating is. I feel like it's really loud chewing the apple, but at the same time it's a small one, so I might be able to eat most of it, like the big chunks now. So let me try. I want to bring in more of that joy again. And with this healing, help us move into those joyful, innocent energies again, where we love, accept, and respect ourselves so much that we no longer take it personal when we're dealing with people like that, but we stay strong, centered, and grounded within ourselves, and we know our truth, and we shall not let those kind of energies and people sway us anymore. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. Okay, I ate most of it. Okay, after the ceremony, I'll eat a little bit more at the top and bottom, but that's pretty much most of the apple, so I'm pretty pleased with myself here. Okay. Okay, let us take a deep breath in, breathing in that pure divine energy. And let us exhale any dark energies and emotions that we have carried around with us. So that is bitterness, resentment, hate, and any other dark energies and emotions, including insecurities and other stuff that just, yes, thank you. A lack of trust in ourselves that shall be let go. Okay, so let us exhale. And if you want, you can also repeat that a few times. Maybe let's repeat it one more time together. And if you want, you can also pause the video and do it a few times if you want. But one more time, let's inhale pure divine love light energy. And exhale anger, resentment, shame, guilt, blame, insecurities, and a lack of trust in ourselves. Oh, and so it is. And shake out your arms, and if you want, your legs and your entire body, your shoulders. Move your head, you can roll it, roll your shoulders. Just loosen up your entire body as much as possible. And with that being said, let us give massive amounts of love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings to our divine team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please open the circle of protection around us, but keep us strongly and massively safe, shielded, and protected at all times with a divine shield of protection. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations, all our relations. And so it is. All right. Thank you all so much for being a part of this ceremony and for being on your own healing and ascension journey. As always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment down below how it was for you. I love reading those comments, and especially in the newer videos, I usually check, like for the past few videos, I usually go back a little bit, but I don't check the really old ones. My apologies. So if I get a chance to read it, then I usually comment as well. So I really, really enjoy that. And if you'd like to support the channel further, there's a PayPal link down below. Also, I would love to see you in one of the upcoming fire ceremonies. And if not, then we'll reconnect in one of the next videos. Until then, I'm sending you tons of love, light, and blessings. Be well until next time, and I wish you great abundance. May truth and integrity always be with you. Bye for now.